Welcome back to Midnight Oil. I'm your host, Tab, and I'm joined by you.
Me, Keegan. We're gonna edit that out, but there was a 5-second pause.
I'm weak. And here today, we're going to be talking about something spooky, something a little scary, something that's got a lot of history. We're about to talk about Halloween. Let's get
Yes,
into it.
Halloween, the spookiest month of the year,
I'm
October.
excited.
I am too. I'm very
I love
excited.
Halloween.
I absolutely love scaring the shit out of people. Specifically, if it's myself. I like I've found that I like being scared. It's fun. I enjoy being scared. Is that
Do
weird?
you just like
I don't
look in
know.
the mirror
Yeah,
or
I'm like, oh, whoa, who the hell's
jokes,
that guy?
jokes. I'm weak. But no, that's not weird. I like being scared. I like fun. I don't like being actually like terrified scared, but
Fun
fun
scared.
scared.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's chill. I can deal with that.
yeah, I vibe. I like the fun scared. I don't like the kamikaze spider from the ceiling scared, but
That's fair. To hear that story, you can go to our Patreon.
and oh boy, was it a doozy.
Oh, it was goofy.
But yeah, this is a bonus episode. So normally our episodes will be coming out from now on. The first one that was a fluke, and as of recording this, we just released that episode. It was supposed to go up at 8 o'clock. I stayed up almost all night setting the Patreon up, doing socials, just cleaning a bunch of stuff up, and getting like the podcast like actually ready. And we were gonna do this thing where we record a ground zero and we do like a public posting, not public posting, we do a live posting and reaction and everything, like a we did this, here's our recording of it kind of thing. We didn't do that. We were both really fucking tired, and it ended up getting posted at like 3 or 5 o'clock or something. So they are going to be going up at 8 a.m. EST. That's East Coast time of the United States. 8 a.m. And from now on, that's when they're going up. No ifs, ands, or buts. This episode specifically will not be going up at the same time. This is a bonus episode. So every now and then, we're going to either, whether we feel like we just want to put another episode out, if we reach a milestone, if there's maybe a holiday or an event. Sometimes we're just going to release extra episodes. Those are likely going to go up on Monday or Wednesday. We don't know yet. But it's going to be in addition to I'm going to call it our mainline universe. So this is our Halloween bonus episode this year. So
Happy Halloween!
happy Halloween!
Slay. Yeah, so today we're going to be going over like what started Halloween, where the roots are, where did it come from, how has it changed over the years, what are the major key differences, where the hell does trick-or-treating come from, costumes, all that good stuff. What the hell is up with Halloween? So yeah.
I'm really excited. So we did a little bit of digging in the pre-show. You can check that out. But what did start it? Where did, because originally being called All Hallows Eve, what started it?
So it derives from the Celtic festival of Samhain. which marked the end of the harvest season and the beginning of winter, which is really interesting to me because technically the winter solstice is on December 21st. So, not quite sure where they got that. I didn't get that far. But yeah.
I
So that's where it actually originated from. It didn't go into like All Saints Eve or All Hallows Eve until a little bit later.
mm,
Cuz that's I think when the Christian influence came in to
so it was
yeah.
originally a Celtic thing, and then there was like a Christian festival.
Yep.
Gotcha. So the Christians took some of the bits and pieces from the Celtic festival, and on October 31st of the year 839, so long time ago, the Christian faith had a festival, and that's was later named Halloween, what we have today. Which
That's it.
I
That's
think I
it.
think it's really cool because so from to my knowledge, the reason that people originally dressed up at the Celtic festivals was to scare away different I think it was ghosts. Um
Something of the sort. Yeah.
and they dressed up in these costumes to get rid of I think the word was spirits to get rid of bad
Mhm.
spirits. And it's just really crazy how we went from picking up a costume and wearing it during this festival to scare away scary spirits to knock knock, give me candy or I egg your house and car. uh
So funny enough, doing research on like where trick or treating like came from, it's actually unknown
mm.
precisely where it was established. In 1951, trick or treating was depicted in a Peanuts comic strip, and then in 1952, Disney produced a cartoon called Trick or Treat featuring Donald Duck and his nephews Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Back to the costumes. So the costumes that at least were practiced during Samhain with the Celts, they were actually like animal skins and skulls and heads
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, cuz they used to druids and shit were real popular back. I mean, they were still around, I think, but they were. Let me find it again. I have too many tabs open right now with all this information on there.
So while you're searching for that, I'd like to correct the All Hallows Eve thing I said, because that was again after all of the ancient Celtic festivals, when people would light the bonfires and wear the costumes to ward off the ghosts. So in the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor all of the saints. And after All Saints Day was incorporated into some of the traditions of Samhain, the evening
Samhain.
before what?
Samhain.
Sal
Samhain. Yeah.
Samhain?
Yeah. It's either Samhain or Samhain. One of the two.
Oh, the
Yeah, it's
evening
spelled weird.
before was All Hallows Eve, and then later it changed to Halloween. So basically, it was on November 1st as far as Crope Pope Gregory III was concerned, but then decided the evening before to be celebrated as Halloween. And then over time, Halloween evolved into what it is today, where we carve the pumpkins, you get the candy, you have these gatherings, the costumes, you have a fun time.
Yeah. I found it. So off the back of the November 1st thing, they the Celts believed that that was the end of the year. So they celebrated Samhain because it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to the earth before the new year. And then they were like, oh man, they're causing trouble, they're damaging the crops. So, for some reason, they thought that the presence of the otherworldly spirits made it easier for the Druids, or the Celtic priests, to make predictions about the future. They built huge sacred bonfires where people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. During that celebration, they wore the costumes, typically consisting of animal heads and skins, and attempted to tell each other's fortunes. When the celebration was over, they relit their hearth fires, which they had extinguished earlier that evening, from the sacred bonfire to help protect them during the coming winter.
Hmm.
Some witchcraft.
Yeah,
I fuck with the vision.
that's crazy. And the reasoning that I think they thought that, as far as like thinking the spirits were coming back at the end of the year, I think they thought that because the Celts were actually pretty spiritual. So they thought, hey, if we do this thing, then maybe the spirits won't be as as rude the following year. And I also found out that the calendar that we use today was not widely used all around the world until much longer after it's been around, which is why the Celts also believe that it was the end of the year, late October, early November.
That checks out.
Let's do a little history lesson because I think you and I we were researching the same area. By 43 AD, the Roman Empire conquered the majority of the Celtic territory, and over like a 400-year time span, they basically ruled the Celtic land. The Romans, at that time, the Roman Empire, they just kind of took and stole and pillaged whatever they wanted. And two festivals of Roman origin were combined with the traditional Celtic celebration of, how do you pronounce it? Samhain?
Samhain. One of the
Samhain,
two.
Samhain. It's spelled. The reason it's weird is because it's spelled Samhain. It's pronounced
Mm-hmm.
Samhain, so you can tell that it was not some guy from America. We
Yeah.
did not do this. But yeah, and that leads into All Saints Day, which is then later again named Halloween, what we know and love today.
Off the back of the combining of the traditions, they combined the passing of the dead, and the second day was to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. The symbol of Pomona is actually the apple, which kind of explains the tradition that we actually practice today is bobbing for apples. So just know, when you're bobbing for apples, man, you're celebrating some Roman shit.
And you didn't even know it. You were just having fun. You were probably
Surprise.
three or four drinks deep in your Halloween party. Now you're bobbing for apples, and all of a sudden you're Roman now. That's not
Yep,
on. That's not on us.
you're celebrating Pomona.
So Halloween parties by the 1920s, 1930s, they became a secular, like community centered holiday, and they had like parades, town-wide parties, and a bunch of different entertainment. And It says despite the best efforts of many schools and communities, vandalism began to plague and some celebrations in many communities during this time. So
Hmm.
some people didn't like Halloween. They didn't like the idea of it. And by the 1950s, town leaders successfully limited vandalism, and Halloween evolved into a holiday that was mostly directed mainly to younger people due to the high numbers of young people during the 50s baby boom. Parties moved from town civic centers into the classroom or the home where they could be more easily accommodated, which is where you get the trick or treat kind of thing, which dates back to a longer, like way, way, way in the past. But they actually had a issue with vandalism, which is when you say trick or treat, back then you were really tricking people because the vandalism was very illegal. There was a lot of illegal stuff going on. So just remember when you say trick or treat about 50 years ago, you probably would have been sent to jail.
Not no eggs and toilet paper.
No, no.
Oh man. No, that's funny. If we take it back to where you mentioned some people weren't with it, didn't like Halloween, that goes all the way back to how Halloween came over to America. It was extremely limited in colonial New England because there was a lot of Protestant Protestant belief systems there. So Halloween was a lot more common in specifically Maryland and the southern colonies.
Hmm.
So that's kind of interesting. The first celebrations included play parties, which were public events that were held to celebrate the harvest. The neighbors would just kick back, share stories, tell each other's fortunes, dance and sing. So they still carried over a lot of Celtic practices.
Yeah, the tradition is still there.
Interesting. Yeah.
Between 1920 and 1950, um this is now, centuries old, but trick-or-treating was revived, and it was a relatively inexpensive way for an entire community to share the Halloween celebration because it moved from being this big community party to now you're going to house, you're walking around, you're having a good time, with your kids or with your friends or whatever it may be. And it was an easy way for them to share the Halloween celebration. So, in theory, families could prevent tricks from being played on them if they provided the treats. So, when back then they were like, "Hey, we're gonna toss this toilet paper over your house. But if you got some Mars bars and Kit Kats, give us those, and we won't do that." And that is really what made the American tradition, because it then boomed. It grew and grew and grew, and just a little fact is nowadays Americans, this doesn't speak for the rest of the world, but Americans spend an estimated $6 billion annually on Halloween alone, making it the country's second biggest commercial holiday after Christmas.
Dang.
So it's up there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
On the topic of trick or treating and costumes and candy, I can't get over like the 1920s, 1930s masks that were a part of some of these costumes that kids were dressing up as. The masks just go so hard.
Whoa.
If you've ever seen a picture of like a really old like Halloween costume mask, so cool.
They don't make masks like that anymore.
No, like it just has this like vintage feel. I don't know. I really fuck with the vibe.
Wow. Yeah, it almost like it just transforms the face, some of them. Like it actually looks like you're it doesn't just look like a costume, it looks like you're actually that being. That's
It's
crazy.
just and some of them are just like really funny. like
Yeah, some of them are a little goofy.
like the little devil ones are hilarious to look
The
at.
gnome
Mickey
ones are funny.
Mouse shit goes hard. I love that shit.
Yeah, that's funny. So Halloween movies, right? We I won't say we. I actually am going to completely discount myself from the Halloween movies topic because I know nothing about them. The only ones I've seen, and I've talked about this probably too many times, and everyone's telling me we're skipping through this part. So go ahead 2 minutes if you don't want to hear this. I have seen two Saw movies, the movie Split, and if you count A Quiet Place. Those are the horror movies that I've seen. If you also count Krampus, that number goes up by one. If you count Bird Box, it goes up by half because I turned that off. And that's my horror movie experience. So, Tab, what do you think has been the effect of horror movies? Just like, how do you think horror movies have affected the way that people see Halloween?
Well, I feel like it's definitely at least inspired costumes. I guess in that sense of sense of speaking. But horror movies have been around for like a while. Some of the cheesy horror movies from like back in the day when they were in black and white, so good. So good. I think it's just there's a science of fear that I learned about a while ago. And people like being scared.
Which is
At
weird.
least some people do.
Yeah, like me. I'm a psycho.
But yeah, there's definitely like backstories from where some of these horror movies like came from. Like where vampires came from, werewolves, zombies, mummies, ghost stories, the devil, creepy clowns. Like there's
Wait. So you're telling me that horror movies didn't make mummies, the devil, and scary clowns? You're telling me that's not where they originated from?
yeah.
Wow.
That wasn't serious, was
No,
it?
no. But
Okay,
it seemed
good.
like to people growing up or being born, recently, there's not a lot of like, oh, maybe this came from another time period. They just think that they own everything. they like I bet you if you asked like someone where like werewolves came from or where the idea of Frankenstein came from or whatever it may be, they're going to say, I don't know,
Teen Wolf.
an old movie, Teen Wolf, yeah. But they came from books, they came from passed down multi-generational stories that have been told. Like,
Yeah, like folklore
yeah, folklore.
and
Werewolves,
mythology.
I'm going to let you know, werewolves were not made in the last 100 or 200 years. They have existed far longer than that. That goes along with zombies, definitely mummies. The devil is also older than 200 years. Like, these things have actual backstory that are not related to Halloween whatsoever. And the only reason that they're related to Halloween now is because we have made them as such with media and movies and books. It's the only reason they're connected. I think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Because now mummies are like these really spooky things, but back when mummies were being created, by the way, they're not just made up things, they are real.
In
Mummies
their
were
tombs.
mummies were actually the reason they're wrapped up and everything was supposedly to preserve them and to keep them like really peaceful. But the media would have you believe they're telling you fake news. No. The, the mummies now are like, "Ah, you have disturbed my slumber." That might be vampires. I don't know. See, I'm uneducated. But anyways,
Both.
anyways, mummies are old, vampires are old, zombies are old, and they were not made in the past 200 years. So stop. It's not true. These go back hundreds of years, thousands of years. There are ancient folklore stories talking about them. And I think that that needs to be very crystal clear to people because the history of these different things go back much farther than a lot of people may think.
And this feels like, oh yeah, duh, common knowledge. But there's a lot of people that don't be knowing about the history of some of these things.
Like
Did you know
actually.
though, funny enough, zombies. So in like to be fair, if you were to ask me where did zombies come from, I'd just be like, oh, I don't know. Something maybe. But they actually have there's several credible reports in medical journals that describe people using certain compounds to first induce paralysis in people and then revive them. And then it goes even further back in Haitian voodoo culture. Folklore featuring undead beings has been around for centuries. And I personally did not know that.
I didn't know that either. That's insane,
Yeah,
actually.
see? Cool as fuck.
Also, a little correction on my mummies explanation. It says mummies are dead humans or animals whose soft tissues and organs have been preserved by either intentional or accidental exposure to chemicals, extreme cold, very low humidity, or lack of air so that the recovered body does not decay further if kept in a cool and dry condition. So that's why they're like when they're uncovering mummies, which by the way, it's a little off topic. Stop taking the mummies out of their homes. Just respect
Let
it.
them
A little
rest.
respect. Like we don't need any more world events going on right now unless it's world peace. So stop opening the caskets, please. This is a PSA. Please don't open mummy caskets. I didn't think I would have to say that, but and I'm all for science and researching things. Just X-ray it. Just X-ray it. Find a way to X-ray it. Stop cracking these open like they're Pokemon card packs because it's bad. It's bad. We don't want people going into graves and digging up your great grandpa and saying, "Hey, I think I'm gonna dig this guy up and research his bones." Like, why? Don't do that. Stop doing that. But that's mummies.
Fair enough.
Am I
Fair
wrong?
enough.
We don't need to. Some things, it's okay if we don't understand some things. I'm all for, again, I would like to know as much stuff as possible, but leave the sleeping homies alone. They were
You
wrapped
gotta
up.
leave some mystery to the universe.
They were wrapped up for a reason. It wasn't to be unwrapped.
It's not Christmas. I'm fucking weak. I just found out something cool about werewolves.
Ooh,
They come from early Greek mythology and early Nordic folklore. I would have never guessed.
Is there like a story that it dates back to?
Probably. Werewolves made an early appearance in the legend of Lycaon, Lycaon.
Mm.
Yep, the son of Peliscus angered the god of Zeus when he served him a meal made from the remains of a sacrificed boy. As punishment, the enraged Zeus turned Lycaon and his sons into wolves.
Whoa.
Yep.
Thanks.
Werewolves emerged in early Nordic folklore from the saga of the Volsungs. It tells a story of a father and son who discovered wolf pelts that had the power to turn people into wolves for 10 days. The father-son duo donned the pelts, transformed into wolves, and went on a killing rampage in the forest. Their rampage ended when the father attacked his son, causing a lethal wound. The son only survived because a kind raven gave the father a leaf with healing powers.
Whoa.
Yo! Apparently, before America had witch trials, Europe had werewolf trials.
What?
What the fuck? That's crazy. I know
Really?
that Europe had witch trials, unless whenever I was looking that up, they meant the werewolf trials.
So,
Apparently, the werewolf trials took place in parts of Europe throughout the 15th, 16th, and 17th centuries, driven by superstition, religious and political clashes, and the desire to find scapegoats for harsh conditions. That checks out.
whoa. That's crazy. Just goes to show you. Wait, did America have any werewolf trials? Let's see. Werewolf
Oh my
trials.
gosh. Mesopotamia mention. The concept of humans transforming into wolves goes back millennia. In the Epic of Gilgamesh from Mesopotamia, the hero abandons a love interest when he learns that she turned an ex lover into a werewolf.
Whoa. Yeah, we
I
found out.
love Mesopotamia.
I was uh I was busting Tab's balls about something that I wholeheartedly believed that Mesopotamia was not a place, and I was so wrong. And I grilled you for like 3 minutes straight.
It was clip farming.
It was so bad. And then we found out that it is a place, and I was simply misinformed.
It hosts Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, is known for its contributions to human development. I was on the right track.
I mean, you were more right than I was. I said it didn't even exist, so no, that's
Oh
funny.
man.
But no, the so America had the witch trials. From what I can see, I don't see any werewolf trials in America. That was like a European thing in like the 15th, 16th, and 17th century, which is insane.
Interesting.
Also, we always see skeletons in like all kinds of Halloween stuff, people's houses, the lawns. They're decoration all over the place. So, here's a couple rapid fire facts about the human skeleton, which is what is predominantly used as decoration, or a mold of them, not actual bones, usually. So, the human body's skeletal system consists of around 270 bones at birth. This total decreases to about 206 bones by the time you become an adult. After that, some of the bones are getting fused together to create one bone. And your bone mass makes up about 14% of your body weight. So, your your maximum mass of bone is between the age of 25 and 30. That's when your bones have the most mass. So there's a couple things about the human body that you may not have known.
Hmm. Yeah, I didn't. I didn't know that.
I knew about the 270 bones, but I thought that's how many bones we had always. I never thought about how you grow up, obviously. Most people grow into a larger version, and that version has less bones because they fuse together. I didn't even think about that.
That's fair. Isn't when your bones fuse? Isn't that like kind of bad though? Not
Um,
maybe the natural forming of fusing bones, but if your bones fuse after the natural fusing happens,
I just
ain't that bad?
yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. It's probably not good to have bones that aren't meant to fusing. Like if all of your like rib cage bones just were one bone. I don't know what the effects of that would be. I don't know. Your teeth are also bones, I think.
I think so, yeah.
But
Cause I remember hearing like that's the only part of the skeleton that you can actively touch. So when you touch your teeth, you're actually touching your skeleton.
oh my gosh, that's a trippy. I'm touching my skeleton. I'm touching my
I know. I just
skeleton.
started tapping my teeth.
So my skeleton is the reason that I talk stupid sometimes. Very cool. Thanks, skeleton.
Yeah, fuck your skeleton.
I gotta straighten my
That's so
skeleton
goofy.
out. So
I'm
when you're
weak.
straightening your teeth out with like Invisalign or braces or whatever, you- you're sh- you're morphing your skeleton.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's just like if you have to get like your jaw wired,
Mm,
you're also morphing your skeleton because you're bringing your bottom jaw forward to correct an overbite, or you're pushing your top jaw backwards to correct a overbite or underbite.
yeah, that's crazy. I
Mm-hmm.
I it's one of those things that I knew. Like I know the teeth are bones, but I never thought about the logistics of it. And it's the reason that my skeletal system literally prevents me from talking correctly.
Goofy.
Oh, also, let's talk black cats because today ghosts and cats are like depicted much differently. So we avoid like messing with black cats as like a superstition because we're afraid that they're going to bring us bad luck. The reason we do that is because it's actually rooted from the Middle Ages, where many people believed that witches avoided detection by turning themselves into black cats. So, black cats in the Middle Ages were actually believed to be witches just trying to like avoid getting caught. So, we don't walk under ladders for the same reason. There's a superstition that is thought to have come from like ancient Egyptians who they believed triangles were sacred. So around Halloween, we also tried to avoid breaking mirrors, stepping on cracks in the road or the sidewalk, spilling salt. These are all things that are rooted to different things in the past, and they just ingrain themselves in society so much. But yeah, the reason that we don't walk under ladders is because the ancient Egyptians believed that triangles were sacred, which is
That's kind of cool.
cray cray. That is the reason for our superstitions. Is the Romans, the Middle Age people, the Egyptians, they they ingrained it in their society, and we have brought it to Modern day.
Everything just falls down the ladder that I'm not going to be walking under
Yeah,
because triangles are sacred.
triangles are sacred.
Something cool that I just found though, if you're on like the Wikipedia page, haunted houses, it like originated. The first recorded one was in 1915 in Liphook, England. This attraction most closely resembles a carnival funhouse powered by steam. Apparently, the house still exists in the Hollycombe Steam Collection. That was cool.
Hmm. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't also know that there are rituals for Halloween and matchmaking.
Yeah.
So apparently, many young women wanted to identify their future husbands, and they did so based on apple peels. So,
Oh,
what they
okay.
would do is they would toss apple peels over their shoulders, hoping that the peels would fall on the floor in the shape of their future husband's initials. And they wanted to learn about their futures by peering at egg yolks floating in a bowl of water. And they stood in front of mirrors in darkened rooms holding candles and looking over their shoulders for their husbands' faces. Which is,
But instead, they saw Bloody Mary.
that's right. And they said that 3 times, beginning that
Yep.
superstition.
I
Uh,
refuse to do that. Still
mm,
to this day.
I did it when
Even
I was
though,
a
as
kid.
an adult, I only made it to the second one, and then I got scared and ran out. And then I've never tried to attempt it again. And I refuse,
Hmm.
actually. I'd really rather not. There
We,
was a movie based on Bloody Mary, I think.
I don't know. We had a Ouija board that we somehow got our hands on. I
Oh,
was like
fuck off.
8 or
Hell no.
9 or something. Yeah, we found a Ouija board. I don't remember it. I just know we had one. I think that's weird that I can't remember anything from it, actually. That's
Fair.
strange. That's
I
strange.
refuse. I messed with a Ouija board one time, never doing it again. Nothing happened. I just, I'm good.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I don't want to invite that. I'm a
So,
spiritual person.
yeah. And if you're spiritual, you don't want to mess with the spirits.
Yeah, nah.
They're the homies.
Let them rest. Pass on.
Or
See the light.
let them do whatever. Like they already they did their time.
Yeah, they're just chilling,
Yeah.
haunting, messing around, opening doors,
A little hee hee hoo hoo.
whispering, playing games. You can you can do that. Just not around me, cuz
What
I'll pee
what
my pants.
what do we think the first candies were for Halloween?
It has to be candy corn, right?
You know, my guess is that candy corn was the very first Halloween treat back in 36 AD.
Yeah, has to be. No,
um
it was probably like fruit.
I don't see fruit, but I see cookies, popcorn balls,
Okay.
caramel apples, or caramel, if you're me and 10 other people on the planet. Um, the children and the poor in the 1800s were given soul cakes.
I heard about that, or I read that.
And that's insane. They also included some of the apples, hazelnuts, and chestnuts. So you were right. There was some fruit.
Apparently, yeah, candy apples were common as like a trick or treating thing. I mean, depending on how many kids visited, but I can't imagine making like hundreds of candy apples
Yeah.
just to give out. but they stopped actually giving out candy apples because there were the rumors that there's razor blades and pins and stuff in the apples. And I mean, there were some cases reported, I think. But that's fucked up. Why are you putting razor blades in candy, bro?
Yeah,
Get
for
a
real.
life. Go to jail.
Go
Fuck
to
you
jail.
if you do that shit. You're you're truly a dumbass bitch if you put razor blades and shit in
For kids.
children's
Yeah.
stuff. Fuck you. Go to hell, actually. Like,
Nope, I agree. Don't put razor blades and stuff that people eat. That's messed up. Um, guess when candy corn was made?
1938.
1888.
I was way off. Way off.
It was made by the Wonderly Wonderly Candy Company, who made it first in 1888, and the Goleats Confectionery Company, which is now called Jelly Belly, began manufacturing in 1898.
Hmm. So this might be like an obvious, but I'm looking up why pumpkins are associated with Halloween. My initial guess before I read any of this is because they grow in the fall. Like they're like it's a fall thing that you grow. So obviously why wouldn't they be?
My guess is because they're shaped like heads.
Fair. But actually, reading it, now that I'm reading it, they actually carved pumpkins back during the ancient Celtic festivals of Samhain and stuff. Like they actually did that.
Hmm.
And they would carve faces into vegetables like turnips to ward off spirits. Again, that's cool. The pumpkin is an iconic symbol of fall, representing abundance and the changing of the season. Come on, pumpkin abundance? We live to see it.
That's when I close my eyes and I ask for abundance, I specifically mean pumpkins only.
Whoa. An abundance of pumpkins. Now, this is interesting. So, carving pumpkins is based on Stingy Jack or Jack o' Lantern. He's a lost soul resigned to wandering the earth and preying on unsuspecting travelers. In Ireland and Scotland, people placed vegetable carvings, typically using turnips, which depicted faces on their doorstep in order to frighten him away.
Whoa.
Hmm, interesting. Who was Stingy Jack? Why was he called Stingy? He was called Drunk. Stingy Jack, Drunk Jack. He tricked the devil so that he could purchase a final drink.
Poor
Yo.
guy.
As a result of his deception, God forbade Jack from entering heaven, while the devil barred him from hell. Jack was left instead to roam the earth. And then came the pumpkin carving. The story is linked to the natural phenomena of strange lights that appear to flicker over peat bogs, swamps, and marshes. Are those not fireflies? Like, come on. So, okay, so by modern science, that's explained as a product of organic decay that was once attributed to various folk belief of ghosts, fairies, and supernatural spirits. These illuminations have been known as jack-o'-lanterns and will-o'-the-wisps, after the figures have been said to haunt the areas with light.
So you know how like the colors are like black and orange for Halloween?
Yeah.
Apparently there's a reasoning for that as well. The traditional Halloween colors of black and orange trace back to Celtic festivals of Samhain. For the Celts, black represented the death of summer, and the orange symbolized the autumn harvest season.
Hmm.
which is insanity. Oh, and pranks.
Interesting.
The treat. Pranks. They were different based on where you were in the world, but a pre-Halloween tradition known as Devil's Night is created to a different origin depending on the source, where some say the prank started as a part of May Day celebrations, but Samhain and eventually All Souls Day also included good natured mischief. So when the Irish and Scottish immigrants came to America, they brought with them the tradition of celebrating Mischief Night as a part of Halloween. Once it came to America, it got illegal.
Damn. I didn't know that the Samhain lore went so deep. So it's in Celtic mythology,
Like rooted?
and yeah, like there's stories about like the second battle of uh Moytura. That was in Irish mythology. That's oh my god, it goes so deep. There was something to do with Tara, and
Partisan?
the ancient on Tarzan. There's an ancient burial mound, but they would celebrate in Ireland. The ancient Celts celebrated the Samhain Fire Festival at the Hill of the Ward, also known as man these words Tlachka.
Plachka?
Yeah, Tlachka, named for a powerful druidess who died there after giving birth to triplets. It's located in mm, the Boyne Valley in country Meath Isle Meath. Some of these I feel like they're just making these words up so I can fuck them up. In Meath Island, the Hill of the Ward is approximately 12 miles from the Hill of Tara. Interesting.
Interesting. Jinx. More candy corn lore.
Oh, come on, candy
1998
corn.
or 1898, the the Golees company bought the candy or brought the candy to people. It was originally named. Want to take a crack at what you think it might be named?
No, because I can't speak today.
So it was originally just named Chicken Feed, and it sold
Oh,
in boxes with the slogan being something worth crowing for. And initially, it was an autumnal or aut- autumnal candy because the corn's association with harvest time. And it became later known and related to Halloween specific when trick or treat grew in popularity in the 50s.
okay, Slay. What's your opinion on candy corn?
Like, do I think it's good?
Yeah, do you like candy corn?
So, when I was a kid, I liked it. I haven't had it in probably 8 to 10 years, but I remember thinking the same thing I thought about Peeps, which was I really like these, but I can only eat like a few of them. Like if you gave me a whole like pack of candy corn or Peeps, I'm not eating them all. No way.
That's disgusting. Both of those.
Yeah.
I'm very anti candy corn and anti peeps.
Yep. I don't know. Peeps I feel like they used to be good and the past I well, okay. When I was like 5, they were good, but that's because, sweets. After I was like 10 years old, I didn't like them anymore. I really didn't.
Fair.
They sat in my like my Easter basket. They sat in my Christmas basket. I just never ate them. It was not my thing.
Yeah, peeps for every holiday.
Well, just Easter and Christmas, I think.
Fair enough.
Candy corn was most years though, or most holidays.
That's weird.
Yeah. Well,
Candy corn is like a Halloween thing in my eyes, at
we had.
least.
I think the reason we had some for Christmas was because it was leftover from Halloween, and we didn't want to throw it away. I think,
Fair enough.
but
I mean, I would have just thrown it away because candy corn is fucking
yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah, I was. I toss it now. It's not my thing. I might eat like
Yuck.
2 pieces and then I'm done. Like, it's just really well now I don't. I have no interest in it now, but yeah, I haven't had it in like 10 years. I might try it again. I don't know.
I wouldn't. Just my recommendation. I wouldn't. I think the peeps thing is because I don't like marshmallows.
mm,
So,
I do
okay,
though.
let me correct that.
Okay.
I don't like marshmallows inside of things. So, like chocolate covered marshmallows, miss me with it. Peeps, miss me with it.
S'mores?
Anything. S'mores? Yes. I will smack a s'more all day. And
Mm.
I'll toast a marshmallow over a bonfire and eat it alone, for sure. But not
Whoa, 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 whoa,
like
whoa, whoa, whoa.
inside of things.
You're eating marshmallows by themselves after cooking it on a fire?
Yeah.
Just just the marshmallow?
Yeah. Is
Really?
that not
Mm,
common?
I I don't know. That feels wrong.
No, cuz okay, so maybe so I used to live like in the country,
Uh-huh.
and we would have bonfires almost nearly every night. So obviously we wouldn't go get the s'more shit every single day
Mm.
cuz like why would we do that? But of course, we always had a huge bag of marshmallows. So I would just toast a marshmallow. Now see, this is where it gets tricky, right? I I char my marshmallows.
Oh, so
So
you're like
they're
cooking
like
it.
so they're straight up like black. And
Okay.
then I'll blow on it a little bit and I'll just stick it in my mouth straight off the stick.
What? Okay, I'm not with you anymore. No, that's some psychopath shit.
Nah, nah. I
You're
mean like
you're completely so you're talking like black all around?
yeah,
What?
not all the time. That was only when I was feeling like crazy.
Oh, you were feeling crazy. Okay.
Most of the time I felt crazy because I was a crazy child. But
Oh, wow.
yeah. And I mean, my grandparents, they always roasted me for it. They were like, "You're literally just burning it." And I'm like, "Yeah, it has a crunch. It's ashes."
I have a story. Well, okay. I'll tell it on the Patreon at some point. Don't don't let me forget to tell you the peanut butter story.
Uh-oh.
The peanut butter story. That's
Not
all.
the peanut butter
That's
story.
all everyone gets. I already know if my mom or dad or any immediate family listens to this episode, they're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. And it was possibly the scariest day of my entire life.
Oh my
And
god.
I'm not allergic or anything at all. So,
Oh my god. That's funny.
uh,
Now I need to hear it.
yeah. I'll tell you on the Patreon.
Okay, before we close this out, I have one more question about marshmallows, right?
Okay.
So, when you're toasting marshmallows to put into s'mores, because apparently you only eat marshmallows inside of s'mores, do you were you the type of kid that used like an actual stick from a tree, or did you all
Mm.
have like the sticks from like the store?
So it depended on where we were at. Like if we had the option or the foresight to know we're cooking s'mores, I remember us having sticks, but I liked just chucking it on like a stick from a tree and tossing that bitch on the fire. It just felt
Okay.
more, I don't know. Like if I'm out by a fire, excuse me. I already feel like a caveman, so I might as well put it on a stick. That was my mentality.
Fair. No, that's fair.
But
Did you used to like sanitize the stick? So like would you
no.
stick the stick in
Oh,
the
yeah,
fire
yeah.
first and then like put your marshmallow on?
Um I would do it enough, but pretty much just like the first maybe 2 inches, maybe 1 inch. I didn't do a whole lot. I was just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna stick this marshmallow on the stick. I didn't care.
Fair enough. I just want
Um,
a marshmallow right now. Well, no, in your case, you just wanted a s'more. Because you don't eat fucking plain
I I
marshmallows.
don't know if I've ever eaten a cooked marshmallow by itself ever.
That's crazy to me. I feel like that's common.
I mean it. Maybe I'm the weird one. Okay. So you like yours charred. I like mine like golden. I don't like the brown part. I want it golden all the way around. If there's a little browning, that's fine. But the second it's like dark brown or black, I literally would throw that part of the marshmallow away.
Fair. No, see, and I was terrible as a kid. I would literally just sit my stick in the fire with the marshmallow on it, and I lost a lot of marshmallows that way because they would get so cooked that they would just ooze off the stick.
That's
And
because
see, with it being charred, right? But that means, okay, yeah, the outside is kind of crispy, crunchy, ashes from the fire. Oh, yeah, you're gonna get sick. You're gonna die. Whatever. But the inside, though, ooey gooey. Like, that shit was
so you
bussin'.
you did it more to make the inside of it more gooey, not because you inherently enjoyed the burnt taste of the marshmallow.
No.
Okay. I'm
I.
I'm trying to make some sense of it and I
Okay,
don't get it.
so this is the only explanation that I have. The bite into the charred part of the marshmallow itched my brain in some sort of way that was just so good. I just, I don't know. It's like that first little, like, crunch, like, ash, and then it just fell apart. And, just thinking about it, I need to go have a bonfire and toast a marshmallow and have it burnt.
Agreed. Not the last part.
Oh my goodness.
No, that's funny. We did it though. We we're gonna have some words about your marshmallow etiquette later on.
Yo,
No, but
I'll never change.
but that's Halloween. I learned a lot.
A lot, actually, that I did not know about.
We're still up in the air about doing um like a recap at the end of episodes. I think if you want to recap, you can just listen to the episode again. um but I think my favorite thing that I learned was that Soin, which is how you say it, was an interesting place. And I just find it insane, actually insane, that all of these superstitions are still around to this day. Like, we don't mess with black cats. But here's the thing, I think a lot of people, before listening to us talk about why they're considered unlucky, don't know why they're unlucky. They just automatically were told by like their family that, hey, black cats are unlucky, and now you think they're unlucky. But I don't think a lot of people knew why they were considered that. Like, I don't think a lot of people knew that the reason that they were thought to be quote unquote unlucky was because they were originally thought to be witches on the run. So I don't know. That's my thing though. That's my interesting fact.
I liked finding out that zombies were from actual, like, medical records and Haitian voodoo. I thought that was really cool. And then also another thing that I thought was really cool was that the Celtic mythology goes so deep into Samhain. Like I thought that was rad.
Yeah, I didn't
I love
know.
mythology.
I didn't know any of that. I love mythology too, which we need to do at some point.
Oh,
Well,
we will.
we
Absolutely.
we will geek out about some mythology.
For
That's
sure.
gonna be a multi episode,
That's
a
gonna be like a week long.
a multi episodic trilogy, or I don't know. It'll probably be longer than a trilogy. I don't know. There's a lot of mythology to go through, to be honest.
A lot. A
But yeah, that's
lot.
Halloween. That's a fun little bonus episode that is ironically going to be probably our longest episode, but
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
That's our episode on Halloween. We appreciate you guys coming along on this journey, and I hope that you have learned something about Halloween. We're starting to get our footing on how this all works, and I'm really excited to keep like just keep learning stuff, to be honest.
Facts. I love learning.
I love learning so much. So thank you so much for listening. Maybe someday watching. And I would like to plug our Instagram account. Go check out Midnight Oil Entertainment on Instagram. That's MIDNIGHTOIL Entertainment. And you can check out our Instagrams as well while you're there. You might as well. And mine is the Keeg with 3 underscores. THE_____. I gotta change that. Keeg, KEEG. And Tab, yours is Tab WTF.
That's it.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
Our Patreon. You can find us on Patreon at the Midnight Oil Podcast. We have our first pre-show actually just uploaded there today. We be getting on some goofy stuff before we actually record these episodes, so you definitely might want to go check that out.
And if you do check that out, when this episode comes out, we did a pre show for this one too, and you can hear about my very first haunted house experience because I did that last night.
Heck yeah.
And we also decided that if we get 10 Patreon members, we're gonna stick a GoPro on the top of my head and go to a haunted house. So
Yep.
if you want to see that, go to the Patreon. Doesn't matter what tier. Support is support. And even if you just go and look at it, thank you very much. Tab,
We love you.
we did it. We love the audience. And we love doing this a lot.
Hell yeah.
And we're going to see you guys. I wanted to say next week, next episode. Bye bye.
Factual. Good night.
Oh, and happy Halloween.
Ooh.